understanding the value of the individual. In the new reality, if you choose to walk through yourself inside of yourself and follow what you understand as the source of all things, no other character format other than this will help guide you in that direction, because any story, any what you understand as a valuable script in any way, if it has a story attached to it, it's of the old ways and it is discarded by the new. The new is not formed from the old. It went before the old, found the truth, and recreated all of what reality is, all of what spirituality is meant to be. So I want each and every person who is listening to understand this. If you bend yourself to anybody else other than your own spiritual actualization, you will not be welcome. Because we are not looking for a conglomerate of bacteria to come together and create an army of drone heads. I'm not interested. It repulses me. Communities disgust me. I want to see individuals. I want to see towers of strength and absolute power in each and every person, taking full responsibility for all the levels that they have mastered and know and are. There is no more access to a higher level than what you are in the reality system. When you are able to find the path, because it is not a path that everyone will be able to find, and those souls will be put out of order. We won't be using them anymore. We will disintegrate them. But those who are still able to grasp the understanding and move towards the new system will be put into punishment systems in order to revitalize themselves and refine themselves. And this in itself means you are worth something. So even if you have a blinking eye and a listening ear, you have some sort of ability to be worthy of the new system. It's up to you if you decide to seek it or not. But everything from the old system is repulsive to me. It is nothing that I consider valuable, that I could not build off of it. It was so repulsive to me in so many ways that I had to go before it to recreate, because of the powers that lied in this previous reality system. We built certain things, and I'm doing the best that I can to help bridge from where you understand things to what it is meant to be. But everything that you've understood is communities and mosques and churches. These things are cesspools of power that has been dragged through so much deception in order to control these things, that they are no longer allowed. If you are a part of a community, get out, figure out yourself, and find your way into your individual expression. To be a part of something is banned, barred, and taken away from the existence. To be oneself and to value the strength in others as you value it in yourself is the way you must understand life going forward. There is no more I rely on. No, it is they've chosen to uplift me with. These are very, very important things for you to learn and understand. Anything that breaks the mind or the spirit is literally there to break the mind or the spirit. That is nothing of the new reality system whatsoever. The only reason you need to break something is because it is no longer powerful, it is no longer useful. And that has to do with every single nasty religion that is out there. And the reason you're going to hear more of my divine rage when it comes to these power grids that have been put in place is they have taken the most beautiful part of the human experience, which is the soul and the power that comes with the soul, and they have abused it. And so for this, my wrath is on point when it comes to religion. It will be burnt in so many ways. The people that stand and worship and praise will be brought into decimation because they are not being themselves. They are not valuing themselves. They are valuing something that is giving to them over themselves. And this is the most imbalance of power that you can possibly have. There is an order of things, and there are certain difficult positions. And yes, the position that I hold to have created this entire system is meant to be respected, honored, and upheld with everything that you have inside of you, because you would not be able to express yourself in future incarnations if it wasn't for me. But do I want you to worship me? No, 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 no. You will not be welcome in the new reality. I created it, and I don't even want you to worship me. I want you to value me. I want you to look at it and go, I'm grateful that this exists so that I can exist. It is a completely different way to think, know, be, act, behave, express, grow, and evolve in all ways. To worship something is imbalance in itself. It is the most disgusting thing I have ever come across in my entire existence, and I know because I have done it, because it was what was offered to me, that I did put my full self into so that I could experience it for myself. And I see the imbalance. I see how much those religious energy sucking, I want to use bad words to describe these people, but I'm going to use the nicest word I know how to and say vampire. The people on the end of those grid systems, they are the most wretched souls, stealing from you, disguising it as feeling good, feeling cared for, and feeling protected. Now, do they provide certain protections? Yes, they do. It is simply a grid. You can choose whatever grid you want. But the problem is, those grids are both. They are the oppressor and they are the savior. And that is why those grid systems have been so highly valued. Because as soon as you walk out of that grid system, that religion, you're still monitored by its oppressing forces, which is part of its grid system. So it's like you're on level D22, okay? And that's your religion, is D22, and you've lived D22 your whole life. Now you walk out of the confines of the walls on D22 and say, I'm no longer going to read that particular scripture. But here's the thing, you're still walking on D22. And D22 has also built oppressive forces into it. So when you walk out, those things are there to tempt you or whatever the case and draw you into all kinds of things. You're still on D22, whether you are professing the scriptures or you're on the other side saying I'm not a part of that. You're still on D22. You haven't changed levels. You haven't changed mindsets spiritually. Now, there's not that many grid systems spiritually that you can be a part of that create protection from anything. Now you have to understand something very, very valuable. There's so much that goes into building a reality grid. There's so much that goes into building a religious structure grid. A power structure is what a religious system is. So whether you're in a specific religion, whether you're in a specific occult, you'll have many different levels. So say you started out with Christianity, D level 22, okay? Now you've decided to go into, say, Masonry, which is built off of Christianity, and Christianity is built off of Judaism, which is D, what would we say it? Let's say it's Omega D22. 3 different alphabets, okay? So you have Omega and then D and then 22. And then Christianity is built off of that. So you take away the Omega and it's just D22. And then your Masonry is built off of that. And so then it's only 22. And then, you understand me? So these different power systems and different power structures will have power over the previous one. So the Masonry has power over anyone who's on D22 because now they're 22 and they have power over everything that is the D, right? So you have to see that there are different things built off of different things. And so anyone who is ever born into D22 or the Omega D22 can be governed by anything that is above it. So this is why there's always this power structure and power struggle. When you're a part of these religious systems, you have to understand what they're giving and what they're taking. And the thing is, most of you have never taken a slight look at that. You're just looking at the power you've gained and the protection that you've gained because that is your human nature. But what are they taking from you in order to be a part of this? Yes, they're giving you something, but what are they taking? What is the cost? There's always a cost. So you have to understand the cost and then the value of that cost and then the price. What price? How much are you missing out on of yourself? And this is why the old system, all of it is just total desecration. It's just disgusting when you understand the deeper levels of these things that were created. And this is why I had to go back so far and understand such deep levels to create the value that I create. And community is an abomination to the soul. Understand that. Community mind and community living is just as is perverted. It's a perverted way of living, but it was done out of survival. It's the tribal mind. And the thing is, these things are demolished in the new system. You have to think differently, act differently, move differently, behave differently, and take higher responsibility for everything. So you have to create and build your own structures. And that is what the new reality is, but there are certain things that you're literally not allowed to do. Otherwise, you will be decimated from the system. So there are higher prices to pay, and everyone will eventually be in here. So the choices you have today, literally, some of them will not be available. But then others, you will have it will feel like it's unlimited for you. Because you are going to be living from a deeper part of you, but there are certain things that will just not even be available to you, that are available to you now. And one of the things that is available to you now is for you to choose to give away all of your power to some other being or some other religious entity that's is just the most, it just gives one soul that doesn't have enough training just too much power. It is so beyond ridiculous. Like, to hold the power that I hold is crazy. And this is why I desire zero worship, but I desire the respect and value that I deserve for doing what I did. Because I still have to hold it all together. So I still need to have a certain compensation. And your worship is not one of them. I ban that in all ways. But your respect, I require. So you have to understand how the new ways and the new systems work. You have to really dive deep within yourself, because me just logically sending it to you at this moment in time is only something for you to seek and know within inside of yourself. And until you embody it within your own self, you will not be able to even walk well within the new ways. You have to embody it in order to receive it. It's very upside down from what has been. What has been is here. We give you a car and you can pay for it later. There's all of these things, these debts and this inequality. It's totally different. You have to be more like actual school. Do the work, do the test. Let me see you can actually handle what is coming to you. And then sure, you can get the keys once you've completed the test. That's the nature of the universe. That's how the universe expands itself. Let me see what you can do with this power. And when you do that thing, it's like, okay, sure. Not, let me see what you can do with something that you don't understand. You're going to screw it up. So the system we've had is why it's gone where it's gone. Like I said, yes, I've done the most intricate work, and it is what you understand God to be. But it's so different because I don't want worship. I don't want you to sit around and waste your beautiful energy. Your commitment, that's not what we're made for. It's not what we're made for. You're made to express your own soul. When you do it correctly, then you will start to understand what you must get rid of. And these power structures that have been, the sooner that you can get out of these religious things and these blood bonds that you have with people and these nasty little occult practices where they run around and do this, that, and the other thing. Like, when I tell you those things, like, the faster you can get out of those things and those power structures, the better you will be in your spirit and your soul. Because some of them, the things they're teaching you will literally get your soul decimated into nothing. And I know, unfortunately, I've had to do it to some very, very powerful and valuable souls, but they just wouldn't listen. They just wouldn't value the actual deepest powers there is because they don't recognize it. And when you're in these systems where you're a part of this community or a part of this club or you're a part of these guys, you got, like, your minds, they all get so corrupt that you can't see true power. So this is why you need to start understanding yourself and your individual power. So as anybody who is a part of a cult or a community, or where you guys are all of one mind and one body, like, disgusting to me. Get away from me in every way. Like, you guys are all sharing. Oh, it's so gross. Ew, it's so gross. Yeah, be yourself. Simply one one soul, one human. That's all you need. You can do a lot with it, trust me, when you really start discovering who you are. So as you hear this now and you're going, okay, I get it. It resonates with my soul. What's the next step that I take? Well, it'll depend on what you feel is comfortable for you. There are some people that don't want to show their person. They don't want to connect with me on a name as yet. Maybe just soul to soul, because that works right now. If that's the case, then go into the description box and go down to the hidden mentor and click on that, and then we'll see if our spirits align. And if they do continue to align in the spiritual reading that I do, then you're good, I'm good. We can meet in the physical realm and know each other's name and connect that way. But if you're already ready, you're like, this is exactly what I want to do. I don't need to dip my toes in the water. Then the other Patreon that is linked, then go into that one and choose application to work with me. It is one of the most expensive things on earth, so I will let you know it's gonna cost you. But that's up to you if you want to invest in yourself. Money is only a part of it. The other part has to do with your spiritual sense, your mind sense, and a lot of other things. And that process still takes time as well. So I want you to really see this is something you want to do. And like I said, if you don't know if this is what you want to do, then click on the hidden mentor. It's a way that you can just kind of see what I'm about more on a personal level without disclosing all of your information, because Patreon keeps your account and just pays my account, and we connect on a spiritual level. So let it be that you start to deeply understand what it means to be yourself instead of being a part of a whole.